Good morning. Welcome back to DX Radio Shop. To our morning Raichu check-in for today, Wednesday. If anyone wants to bring up any topics, you can do so. Just be a basic deal. So anyways, who we got here this morning? Anybody? Okay, we got a few. So anyways, we're going to talk about a few different things this morning. Just got to do our morning check-in. So, and whatnot, but I know one of the topics was about the SWR meters, so we're going to go ahead and do that as well. We're going to kind of just discuss a few things about SWR meters and what they're for and all that good stuff. We'll be doing a class on it anyways as to more in depth over it, so. Let me just finish what I'm doing here. I got finished packaging up a radio here, so give me a second to get things rolling. If anybody wants to check in and discuss any topics, feel free to do so right now. It's gonna get a little noisy in here. Cover this box all up in paper. That's why we're using so much packaging tape. Bear with me for a moment, please. If anyone, like I said, if anyone wants to check in, say hello or good morning or whatever you want to discuss, go ahead, feel free to do so. That's what the check-ins are for. In the meantime, so yeah, SWR meters, we're going to discuss a lot about that. We've had requests as to going over how to use them, all the basic stuff. So, I mean, SWR meter, as we know, you guys got to have that in order to have an idea of what you have for a ratio, because if you don't, when you have a high SWR, you can definitely fry your finals, etc. So it's important to have a low standing wave to make sure everything's good with your equipment. You don't want to blow nothing up. So typically anywhere from a 1.5 or less is where you want to be. More so 1.1 flat would be the ideal place to be. So for maximum performance, they always say 1.5 to 1 or lower is where you should be for best efficient performance. So, but you're looking to measure the power transfer of the antenna is what you're looking for. See, it's always about a good ground. Hello, Charles. Charles, how are you? It's always about a good ground on your antenna system. You got a good ground system and a good antenna, you'll talk all over the place. Based on conditions, obviously, but for the most part, you'll be able to do just fine. So, it's important to start with the antenna, a choice of your antenna, where you want to put the antenna, a good antenna ground, and then you go from there. So, otherwise, you're chasing your tail. I've had guys ask me, well, aren't you supposed to match the antenna to the radio? No, that is false. You don't match the antenna to a radio, you match the antenna to a ground source where you're going to put the antenna. Whether it be to a vehicle, to a home, whatever. You've got to have a completed circuit. That's what it comes down to. So. I had to cover this all up in white paper. It's not going to go out as priority, it's going to go out as brown. Okay, now we can see print. Download. Perfect. Nice to be able to print my own labels. I don't have to worry about standing in line at the post office or UPS, all that gasoline you waste. Do it all here. We got a whole ship and receiving all set up just for this purpose. And that one's done. He goes out. Now, for the next one, one more to do. Okay. While we're waiting on that for a second, I gotta look this guy's information up. So, yeah, if you have a high SWR, then you have more loss. You'll have risk of high impedance to the antenna jack to your finals. You're going to screw it all up. You're going to blow the damn thing up. So an SWR meter, any SWR meter is good to use. It doesn't matter what brand it is. It doesn't matter if it's a $1,000 meter or a $20 meter. They all work exactly the same. So have they improved that many of them? Sure. But to get your standard ratio to see what it is what it is. The best way to go is get an antenna analyzer. If you cannot afford one, which are very pricey units, just go with a basic SWR meter. As long as you know what you have, you're good to go. The idea is when you use an SWR meter, though, your jumper cable, this is where it gets screwy for people. They tend to use a 2-foot, 3-foot, 4-foot jumper. You don't want to do that. You want the jumper to be as extremely short as you can get it, because you don't want to change the impedance of what you have. So we've had cases where we had someone's got an SWR meter in line. Hello, Fonza, how are you? Good morning. We've had times where people will show up, they have a jumper cable that's like 1 foot long, 2 foot long, 3 foot long, and when they have the SWR meter in line, the SWR drops. But when you check it at the antenna with an analyzer, it's high. So the reason is because it's picking up the difference through that jumper, okay? And of course your circuitry of the meter. So what you're looking for is the shortest you can get, typically less than a foot. You want something as short as you can get it to eliminate any kind of interference or disruption of your loss or your path of RF. So you want to have the jumper that goes from your radio to the SWR meter, keep that as short as possible, and then just put your antenna to where it says antenna, marked antenna onto your SWR meter and measure it. If you have a more than a foot jumper, you're going to find out it needs that extra distance to compensate what it needs, because you need to adjust your antenna. So if you're getting say you got a foot, 2, 3, whatever, the 2 foot jumper, 1 foot jumper, 3 foot jumper between the radio and the SWR meter, and oh, okay, yeah, I got a 1.2. All right, now let's put an analyzer onto it. You probably got a 1.7 or a 1.8. So you have to readjust the antenna, and when you get the antenna all squared away and something done, that should match up with what you have. But you got to shorten your jumper. You don't want a long jumper between the radio and the SWR meter. Some people might say, "Oh no, that's hogwash." It's because they don't know. So when they argue against this, they don't know, and that's the problem. You got to have the shortest in between 2 points. The shortest distance between 2 points is the most crucial. You can't change Murphy's Law. That's exactly what it is, okay? And so it applies to everything in life, whether it be your everyday way of life is to, like if you're using a ground, the shortest ground wire is the best, right? Martial arts, the shortest distance between point A to point B when you strike somebody is the more crucial than it is you swinging 10 miles away, we'll say, for example. So that's the whole idea, is that the shortest between 2 points is the more beneficial you're going to have. So when you have a radio and an SWR meter, you don't need to leave the SWR meter in line. Some people like to do that because it's cool and whatever they want to do. That's fine. That's okay, but you don't need to do it. It's just there as a reference to tell you what you have, what you don't have. And if you want to check it periodically, then check it periodically, once a month, whatever, once a week. If you're whacking your antenna against tree limbs going down a car, down the road with your car, but a base station, whatever else, just check it once. You're fine. And if you have any problems where things are acting up, well, then go check it again. But you don't need to leave it in line. It's best not to leave them in line. It's just a reference point. You check it, you set it, see what you have, and you go from there. But keep the connection short between the radio and the SWR meter, and then just run your coax line from the antenna into the SWR meter, measure it, and see what you got. That's really the better way to go if you don't have an analyzer. If you have an analyzer, well, that's the best way to go. So anyway, that's what you want to do. So to get the best setup you're looking for and the most optimal performance is to adjust the antenna to the lowest point you can get it with the best ground that you can find onto your vehicle, or if it's in your house, then make sure you got a ground rod outside so you got a really good ground setup, and that's what you're looking to do. Now let me go back here. I gotta finish this guy's stuff. Anybody any questions about that? I'll give you a few moments to add into it if you wish. close. Okay. Okay. Good morning, Ace. How are you? Two packages going out. Okay, now you put the tape away. You guys don't have to listen to that no more. All this noise. Alright, what's we got here? That was 7:59. Good morning, Renaissance. How are you? So we're just doing check-ins this morning. No big deal on that. Let's take and switch this on over for a moment. We were talking about SWR meters, so let's take a look and see. Basically what you're looking for, let's see your radios here. That's your CB radio. You got your coax connector in the back end. Well, you want to make this as short as possible, so let's say this is your SWR meter here. Okay, you got your input and your output. Well, this goes to the antenna. this here has got to connect to that point. Keep this very short. So if you have to, put your meter on top and try to keep it like like less than a foot, like 8 inches, 6 inches, not going to hurt you. Anything over a foot, there's calculations you can determine. You can calculate it. Really easy to do. It's online. You can find it. Don't let anybody lie to you and tell you that's not true. It is very true. It is. If they tell you it's not true because they don't know, they've never done the formulas, they don't have the calculations, they just don't know. But they're so quick to tell you, no, that's false. Okay, well, why is it false? Can you explain the difference? Well, can you explain the difference? They can't. Okay, so it's completely irrelevant when you got people that sit here and tell you that it can't be done. No, that's not true. You can use a 2 foot, 3. You cannot. You can use whatever you want, but to get the best results, you're not going to get the best results, because if you have a, say, 1 point, let's just say 1.8 here to 1 ratio, and then you check it with a meter and it's like a 1.2 to 1, you're going to think, okay, cool, I'm all good to go. Now you disconnect the meter and you have just the CB to your antenna, you're right back to 1.8 to 1, or even a 2.0 to 1 or higher, because what you're looking for is, or what this antenna is looking for, is the match impedance. Well, this was taking up the difference because that jumper. So it's always important to keep it very short. Typically 6 to 8 inch ain't gonna hurt nothing. Anything over a foot, you're gonna see a difference. You're gonna see a little bit as it goes. You create more loss. The longer the jumper, the more loss you're gonna get. The more false reports you're gonna have, because it's not gonna give you what you want. It's looking to match the impedance. So basically, what you're looking for is, let's say that's like a 2 foot jumper. Well, then you have, let's say you have, I don't know, 75 feet here, and you got a 3 foot there. Well, maybe it needs that extra 3 foot to make this equivalent to your 1.1 to 1 ratio. Maybe it needs that extra 3 foot. So when you put this in line with an SWR meter, oh, I got a good SWR. Take that meter back out, check this on an analyzer, and it's still going to be high, because you have to adjust the antenna to the lowest point. So let's say your antenna is going to be, let's say you got it tuned really well. Let's say that's a 1.1 to 1. It's like perfect. Okay, cool. Now you put SWR meter in. That thing should not move. It should not move at all. It should be pretty close to what you have. So the key thing is, start here. The antenna is everything. So if the antenna is the lowest point, then you're okay passing through. If it's a high point, and then you put this on here, but you don't know what is, let's just say you assume, well, that the measurements on the piece of paper you got from the manufacturer says, cut this to, I don't know, 23 centimeters, and you'll be fine, and that should get you between a 1.1 to 1 to a 1.5 to 1. You should be in the ballpark. Okay, you're going to assume, well, okay, that's good to go. I'm pretty close. I'm not going to worry about it. Now you go to put your meter on. You find out, yeah. My meter says 1 point, I don't know, let's say 3 to 1. So yeah, I got a good SWR. Okay. But if you actually tune this better and you pay attention to this, because just because you cut it there and you don't check it, hell, that could be a 2.3 to 1. You don't know. You always check it at the antenna first. See what it is. So the ideal thing is this. Here's your antenna. That's antenna symbol. Check the antenna here with an analyzer. Okay? Again, keep it less than 6 inches if you can. 8 to 6 inches, no more than that as a jumper. I like to use a barrel connector piggyback. That way, it's like extremely no loss whatsoever. It's so minute, 0.00000 something. It's like so freaking little. It's nothing to even worry about. It won't change the impedance. So if you do a analyzer at the antenna itself, and let's say you finally got that down to the best you can get is a I don't know. Let's just say it's a 1.2 to 1. Okay, we'll just make it like something like that. Okay, cool. Now let's put on your 75 foot of coax. You need to get that down the pipe into your radio room, right? So let's say you got it like this. So you got 75 feet of coax. Now let's check the coax to the antenna. And now all of a sudden it says 1 point, oh, let's just say it's 1 point, I just make a number up, 3 to 1. All right, well, that's not bad. It went up a little bit because of the length of the coax, the change in the impedance from point A to point B. Okay? So, ideally, what you're looking for is a flat all the way down, right? That's what you're looking for, or get it close to. So, if you have a 1.1 to 1, 1.2 to 1 here at the antenna, and it went up a little bit here, well, there's two things you can do. One, you can justify by measuring the right coax here to get that to match him in a perfect world, basically, or try to tune the antenna a little bit better to get that thing down. Because if that's the best you're going to get, well, it's the best you're going to get. If this is what you end up with, and you don't want to mess with by adjusting how they could be 75 feet and, oh, I don't know, it could be a, excuse my language, 16th of an inch more. It could be 74 and, oh, I don't know, let's say, I don't know, 13/16 or something like that. I don't know. It can be anything, right? So, it can be anything. I mean, that little minute area, it depends on what you have. Also, it also depends on how you solder your connectors down. If you're not having a good enough connection, there's a lot of different variations that can happen, a lot of variables. But that's the ideal thing, is to measure at the antenna. Then you get the antenna put up, put your coax on, measure after the coax, make sure those two are fairly close as possible to a 0 point. Then you can connect this point over now to your, connect that end to your CB radio. That's what you would do. Okay, so people don't realize that, especially with truckers, they put these two antennas up, and I laugh. Yeah, I got these right here. It's all co-phased. Doop, doop, and out to the CB. Well, that's cool. Nice. Perfect. Yeah. I had them all tuned in. How did you have them tuned in? Well, we put SWR right here. Okay, so what'd you come up with? Well, it says I got a 1.5 to 1. I guess I'm good. Okay, let's put this to a test. Let's disconnect one line, put that to the analyzer. Uh-oh, we got a 1.7 to 1. Over here, we have a 1.8 to 1. When you check that side, and with the two of those together, somehow come up with this number, however they did. That was for an example. I had a recent guy who just came here with a dump truck, and that's what we ran into. And I said, okay, well, it says you got good SWR. Here's the problem, though. What was bothering him was two things. One, it didn't seem like he was really getting out. Two, he's got a Cobra 29. And what do they have? They have this thing here called an SWR light. And that SWR light was coming on even after the radio was registering at 1.5 to 1. Okay, now the SWR function inside the bridge, inside the radios, they're never going to be 100%. They are a reference, but they're not far off. They'll be within, very close. So when the light came on, that told me two things. Either one, you're at the breaking threshold of the SWR, something's not communicating perfect, or two, there's a potentiometer in the back end that somebody may have adjusted and they've changed that threshold. So we can measure, and a lot of guys don't know how to do this. They'll call it BS, but they don't know how to do it. Let them prove themselves. I've already shown this 1,000 times in my videos. So go back and look at my videos, guys. You'll see it. We've already done the calculations. We've done everything to show you. So they can't sit here and tell you, oh, no. He's giving you false information. Let them prove themselves. The ones who cry are the ones who don't know how to buy, and they don't know how to use the knowledge because they don't have the knowledge to use. So keep that in mind. So what we did was we took the calculation. We figured out, okay, let's check the threshold. So I checked the threshold of the radio. It was where it belonged. So they have an adjustment on the board in the back end. It was right where it belongs, per spec, by the book. That's what we do, by the book, okay? So we go back to the antennas and check those two. Say, okay, well, here's where you are. Well, what does that mean? It means that this antenna's got to get adjusted down to its lowest point. Well, that antenna here, we managed to get down to a 1.3 to 1. And over here on this one, we managed to get that one down to a 1.2 to 1. So we did a lot better thus giving us as our end result, it was not far off from here. It ended up being 1.3 to 1. That's where it ended up coming out. So he had a lower SWR at this point. Now this is in the middle of the band. Now on channel 1 was damn near close, 1.2 to 1. And on 40 was about 1.3, a little over 1.3, almost, we'll just call it 1.4. It was a little bit over. It was like just about to 1.4 to 1, we'll call it that. It was like 1.3 something. It was damn near close 1.4. I have it written inside of his notes. But anyway, so that's where it was. In the middle of the band, it came down. That was a happy medium, is 1.3 to 1. So it was a lot better where it was. We did not adjust the threshold because we knew that's where it was set. It was still factory, so we left it alone inside the radio. Rechecked the radio against what my analyzer said, and they were very close, like within tenths. Okay, so the SWR meter built inside the radio, this Cobra 29, matched up right here. It was like maybe a hair over than what my analyzer had said, but it was right there. It was like 1.3, whatever it was, 2 something or other. It was like really close. So the accuracy was not 100%, but it was very close to give me enough to say, okay, well, I can trust that meter, in other words. So, and I told the driver, because it's agreeing with what we have, now you're good to go. Not to mention, in order to obtain these, not only do we have to adjust them, we had to add a ground wire from the mirror mount bracket. This is the biggest thing for you truck drivers. Take a ground wire. Here's your bracket, and you got your bolts. If you have 2 trucks, you should never really run cold phase. You don't need to on a truck. You need to be a lot further in distance away from the antennas. You don't really need 2 antennas. 1 antenna will do just as good as 2. But if you want to run 2, fine, whatever. That's up to you. Now, you run a ground wire from one of these bolts, short as you can get it. I mean, you only got just so much room, right? Down to what's that say? Frame. You must run the ground wire from here all the way down. If you want to, ground your door, right, from your door to the body to the cab, you can do that, and then from the cab, add your junction from that point down to the frame. Either way you look at it, your cab is not grounded to the frame. They have to separate that to keep you safe. So if you ever run over electrical wires from a telephone pole, you don't get jolted and die. So your cab of your semis are not grounded to the frame. Okay? So you must ground this mirror arm to the frame. That's your ground support. And if you got 2 antennas, you do both on both sides. Now we go back and we can adjust your antenna as to where they need to be. Otherwise, you're chasing your tail. You're never going to get a good ground. Therefore, you're going to stay right around 1.7 to probably 3.2 to 1. I've seen it all the time. All the time. And when you sit down, you crunch numbers, you find out right quick, fast, in a hurry, well, what's the problem? Well, you ain't got a ground. But just by adding a ground wire, you're going to find these numbers change drastically. Now you got something to work with. Now you can adjust the antennas to where they need to be. But if you're going to run 2, you have to adjust 1, get it set. Run 1, get it set. Put the 2 together, check them in the middle, get it set. And if one's off, you got to calculate what you need now, the proper length of coax from point A to point B, where they connect to the CB. Everybody got that? Connect your dots, la la la, right? Okay. So that's very important to understand how SWR works. So always get the lowest point. Same thing with the house. Check your antenna. If your antenna's up here on top of the house, cool. Check your antenna. Get it where you want it. When you get it all said and done, put your coax onto it. Bring that on down wherever it's got to go. Let's say you're on an A-frame here with a tripod. Let's bring that right on down along the A-frame, come down the side of your house, and then if you're on a pipe, then it's just going to come straight down to the ground. It doesn't really matter. Okay, however you got to do this, doesn't really matter. But either way you look at it, put a ground rod in the ground. Use a number 6 or number 10, and it has to be solid copper wire. And you got to have the proper grounding lug. Don't just use a pipe clamp or a hose clamp. Don't do that. You need a good, pure grounding lug. You got to have that. It's important to have this. You'll know why, because the material of that, you got to have the ground lug. Okay, ground that right to the rod. Keep the rod about roughly 2 inches above the ground. Keep it as close as you can to the home, because you don't want to hit it with a tractor. You don't want to trip over it. So just kind of keep that close to where you're not going to hit it with, the tractor or whatever else. And then just run your wire right down through here. Now you got yourself a good ground. Now, here's something to please pay attention, guys. I've had this question a lot. My water pipe is grounded. Yes, it is. Can I just take my a wire and just run that down right to my water pipe? No, you cannot. You can do that. Yes, you can. But is that the proper way to do it? No, it's not. If something were to go wrong, it's still going to have a problem. Go directly to its own ground rod. Do not share that. Even though everything's all connected to the ground, it doesn't matter. Take your antenna right to its own ground rod. Do not connect this to your water main pipe inside your basement. Just because that's grounded doesn't mean anything. Don't connect your radio ground, your coax ground here, to that. Get it to its own ground rod. Okay? When you have your masting pipe, it goes to a ground rod in the ground. Okay? That's what you have to do. And that keeps everything all the way. Now, if you want a better ground than just one rod, you can use two rods, and you can run what they call a loop, and then bring that back over, and that will help supplement any other issues that in case you do have a direct hit by lightning. Not only is it just straight to ground, but it's also going to come back and still go back to ground. Okay? And if you don't understand that, and if people want to argue, which our trolls will argue, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Okay, then you go talk to the electrical code enforcer and you find out what I just said, and they're going to point out to you exactly why I just said that. I just did this last year for my my upgrade to my electric. We have two rods in the ground right by my new electrical box, my smart meter box, and we had to run a ground loop and then back out to the box. You have to do it that way. You can't just say, where's my electrical box? And, yep, there it is, going out to the pole, and here's a ground rod, and it's connected. It will not pass. It won't pass. You got to have that loop. You have to. It gives you extra safety net. Okay, so there's a lot of reasons behind it. Okay, well, anyways, enough art class, because I got a lot of work to do. I'm expecting a lot of people today. Pick up radios and drop off radios, and I got a lot of reasons to do in between. So I wasted a lot of time last night, having to deliver a radio to a person who was a complete jackass who later had no intention of paying anyway. So it's a good thing I stopped what I was doing and just took the damn thing back to him. He had no intention of paying, none whatsoever. So now I lost time with that, over an hour and a half of 45 minute back to deal with his nonsense and listen to all his made up stories he texted me that I shared with everybody on YouTube last night as well, and put that all out, exposed the dirt. So it is what it is. But anyways, so yeah, we got a lot of work to do. So I want to take and enjoy your day. Hello, Renaissance. How are you? And so if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. And if you guys need any radio work done, feel free to contact me, dxradioshop@yahoo.com, 315-945-1600. And I was going to add something else here. I forgot what that was now. I want to welcome our new member, Mr. Joe. He joined as well for membership. So if you guys want to please check that out, go to my members, hit the join. It's only $8.99 a month, guys. It's more than worth it, because the knowledge you're going to get out of here is beyond your wildest dreams, as you know. So we have many videos, over 1,500 videos that show troubleshooting, analyzation, test equipment, everything. And so check it out for sure. Hit the join button if you want to see much more. And if you are a member, an active member, then by Christmas Eve of this year, someone's going to win a brand new Stryker 955 version 2 plus, the 100-watt version. It's going to be already all done up, ready to go, so it's plug and play. You don't have to pay shipping or anything, but you got to be an active member here on our YouTube channel. And also, someone's going to win a brand new Washington 10-meter radio, already done up, ready to go, shipped to your door but you got to be an active member. On top of that, we are also going to include a 50 amp power supply, brand new. We're also going to include a brand spanking new, well, we're going to do this a few of them actually, brand spanking new, the 636 noise canceling microphones. We've got 4 of those we're going to be putting up. So we're going to have a lot of people that are going to end up with beautiful door prizes for free, just becoming a member. But you've got to be an active member. So you can't just sign up today, so I'm a member today, okay, I got a month membership, and whatever. You have to be a constant, a continuous active member. So if you haven't already checked it out, please do so. We have to reach 50. If we can reach that 50 mark by the end of the year, we're climbing, we're getting up there. So if we can hit the 50, then we'll be able to put your membership names only. Anybody who's got membership here and it's active, your name will go on the spin wheel, and at that point we will take and we'll spin the wheel, live stream, and the numbers will pull up, and whoever it lands on, whatever name it is, that's the door prize you get. Now we're not going to sit here and say, okay, we're going to do this and pick one. We're going to do a door prize. So the first door prize will be this. That's the name who goes to it. The next door prize is going to be this, and then the door prize goes to him. So we're not going to do a spin the wheel and say, well, pick one. We're going to pick it for you. So the first items on the list is going to be like the microphones. The next one's going to be the radio. Then we're going to mix them up a little bit as to in between. So that's what we're going to do. Like I said, it's not going to cost you guys any kind of raffles or nothing like that. It's all completely out of my pocket, but you have to be an active member, and we need a total count of 50 members by the end of the year. So if we can reach that goal, and you guys join, and you're an active member, you get the opportunity to enter your name into the spin wheel on Christmas Eve, and someone's going to be a winner of these wonderful prizes. So between, if all goes good, we're hoping, I'm waiting to hear back from somebody because we picked up a new supplier. So they have a few things I want. So we're going to have a antenna analyzer. We're going to have microphones. We're going to have radios. We're going to have Baofengs. We're going to have Anytone Quad 5 Plus. We're going to have a whole pile full of things. So my goal is to try to get about 8 or 10 items. That's my goal, instead of just 2 or 3. So I want like 8 to 10 items is what I want to do when I get ready to put all these out. So, but again, you got to be an active member, current active member during that month. So if you guys are a current active member, whether it be from now till then, or you sign up December 1st at the end of November to make sure you get the full month of December, that's cool. You can wait till then if you wish. But if you wait till then, I mean, again, we need to reach 50. It's not just, well, I got, say like 25 or 30 people. You got to hit 50. We need 50 on the count. So if we can reach that goal together as our radio community, then we're going to have a lot of door prizes to give away. So please hit join, guys. I'd appreciate that. Thank you all for your support. And let me get back to work here at the bench. We'll see you all soon. Like, share, subscribe, thumbs up, be safe, and we'll be back here shortly at the DS Radio Shop.